Today we're driving a 2022 Honda Civic Hatchback Touring. This has a 6-speed manual transmission, a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that makes 180 horsepower. As tested, it's about $30,000. Let's say you're an enthusiast, but you want something that's a little bit more comfortable than the Civic Si, but you still want a manual transmission. This is a pretty good option in the market. There's also now the Acura Integra. Pricing for the manual is about $37,000, so quite a bit more than the Civic Hatch, but you can get into a CVT for a little over $30,000. Because I've driven a couple of these cars recently, spent a lot of time in the SI, and I just drove the new Integra, I thought it'd be fun to compare this Civic Hatch Touring to both of those options and talk about some of the differences. First, let's walk you around the Civic Hatch. We'll show you what it looks like inside and out, discuss some of the features, but for the most part, this is going to be a little bit of a comparison video. So all three of these vehicles ride on the same platform, but they all have different body styles. I believe the sedan is around 5 inches longer than the Civic Hatch, and the Integra is about the same too. It has that lift-back design, and most of that length is over the rear overhang for just more cargo space and interior room. That said though, the rear cargo space in the Civic Hatch is fantastic. We've got a super low loading floor. We even get a spare tire with a jack. You could fold down these rear seats and get SUV crossover levels of cargo space in the back, and you get this cool little cargo cover right here too. Let's hop in the back seat and show you what legroom looks like. It's also a pretty attractive looking hatchback. I like the design that Honda did with this new hatch. It's a much more conservative and minimalist approach compared to the previous generation Civic. Seated behind myself at 5'10", I have a ton of legroom, a little bit of room underneath the front seats to put my feet to. Still a pretty bare bones back seat. We get a couple USB ports back here, but that's about it. No climate control vents, no climate controls. A nice little seat back pocket though, and a very nicely laid out and attractively designed interior. Really the highlight with all of these cars is usability. The ergonomics that Honda has developed in this latest generation of Civic and that Acura carried over to the Integra, the ergonomics are just about perfect. Everything falls to hand really easily. It's such a nice car to live with and use on a daily basis, especially when everything is going towards touchscreen functionality, and there's very little stuff here hidden in this touchscreen. You get wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, you get a navigation system, FM radio, all that good stuff, but really everything you need is within a reach or a press of a button. Climate controls are physical knobs and dials that have a really satisfying click to them. We'll hop on the front seat and show you guys those in a minute here. All three of these options are hugely fuel efficient too. You can expect high 30s to low 40s from highway MPGs, which is pretty incredible. Low to mid 30s in the city. This motor takes regular fuel and 0W20 oil. It's very quiet, pretty torquey, and 180 horsepower goes a pretty long way. This only weighs about 3,000 pounds. All right, so compared to the SI, we get a few more features in this hatchback Touring than we do in the performance variant. We have heated seats for one, at least in the US market. That's a difference. Kind of a controversial one, but that is a nice feature, a nice consideration in this hatchback Touring. Leather seating surfaces feel very nice, and one small difference that I'm noticing between the Civic and the Integra is that Acura got rid of the physical dimmer switch down here on the left, and they replaced it with a menu that's just a couple clicks away that you access through the steering wheel. We still get buttons for traction control off, a quick access button for all of our Honda sensing systems. We get adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist with this 6-speed manual transmission, which I think is just awesome. We don't get drive modes or individual modes. We get an economy mode and a normal mode, and that's it. So we can't adjust our suspension like we can in the Integra. We can't adjust our steering feel or engine sound. There's no rev matching. This is not really as enthusiast-oriented of a vehicle as the SI and the Integra. We don't have a limited slip front differential, but we still have a fantastic handling chassis, a pretty good manual transmission, and an engine that loves to just kind of throw torque everywhere and get 40 miles to the gallon. So overall, this is a pretty solid daily driver. The Bose sound system is one of the best in class, and really only bested by the Integra's ELS system. And for another few $1,000s, if you really appreciate in-car audio, that might be worth the jump. All right, let's take the Civic for a drive. We've walked around this in a few different videos, but in this video, I think it's important to compare this to the SI, just because we have a manual transmission this week. So at low speeds, this is a pretty easy car to drive. Clutch is light, not a lot of feel or feedback from the pedal, but it's easy enough to drive smoothly. And for new or experienced manual transmission drivers, I think you'll be pretty happy with this. The shifter has a little bit of a weight to it, not as notchy and crisp and short as the SI or Integra's shifter, but it's still pretty nice. I'd put this above the Corolla XSE, for example. Just a little bit more shifter feel, and a big improvement from the previous generation, the 10th gen Civic Hatchback Sport. There isn't even really that much rev hang under 5,000 RPM. Revs drop pretty naturally, pretty progressively. When you rev it out, though, there is a ton of rev hang. It's probably slightly more than the Civic Si and the Integra. Just takes a while for those revs to drop at high RPM, which is a bit of a buzzkill. But honestly, that's kind of how all three of these cars drive. 90% of the time, it's not going to be something that you're going to notice, because you're not going to be hammering this car everywhere. You're probably going to be hypermiling it a little bit more than you are driving it hard. Pedals are nicely positioned though for heel-toe downshifts. It's a nice responsive engine. Besides that rev hang, it pulls pretty well, and it even sounds decent. No fake piped-in noise or active sound control in this Civic Hatch like you get in the SI. The Integra, still pretty muted, pretty quiet, which I think is nice. Let's talk about ride quality and NVH. The Civic SI and this hatchback both have a little bit more road noise than the Integra. Integra has more sound deadening, it's more comfortable, it's a little bit softer, it's just a quieter, more luxurious package, and it's a little bit of a class up in terms of comfort and amenities. But the Civic hatchback is definitely, I'd say the ride quality is pretty close to the Integra's. The SI is where things get stiff and performance oriented. The suspension in the SI is firm. It feels like a Fiesta ST or a Focus RS or a GTI with, maybe lowering springs or something. If you're an enthusiast and you're used to cars with modified suspensions, lowering springs, coilovers, the Civic Si is going to feel right at home. But if you want something that's a little bit more of a comfortable daily driver that soaks up bumps, but still is fun to drive, still handles great, this Civic Hatchback Touring is a really great option. So the SI only comes with a manual transmission, and that has that limited slip front differential, which is awesome. This is an open diff, and the Integra and CVT forms, that's all an open diff as well. So the Integra with a manual, that costs about 37 grand. That comes with the limited slip differential, and it's a nice driving car. It's fun. It's a little bit sluggish. It's a little bit slower than the SI. Honestly, the power to weight of the Integra feels pretty similar to this Civic hatchback. This has 180 horsepower. It's about 20 horsepower down from the SI and the Integra. And, 3,000 pounds. The Integra is a little bit heavier. Feels pretty similar from a driving perspective in terms of power and responsiveness. Now it's tough because I can't really tell you which one of these three cars to buy. They're all great options. They're all relatively similar with a few differences here and there. I'd say ultimately, if you're looking for a fun to drive enthusiast option that's practical, fuel efficient, it's going to be reliable, the SI is probably the best best overall package for fun to drive character. That is just a great chassis. The suspension is super, super performance oriented, and with that front diff, it's a pretty nice performer. If you want something a little bit more hardcore, you can always go with an Elantra N, but you're going to be paying a little bit more. The Integra definitely steps things up a notch in terms of luxury and features, and you're paying a premium for that. The sound system is amazing in that car. The ELS 3D audio in the new Integra is really something to behold, but don't knock this Bose either. This is still pretty good. It's just the Integra takes it to that next level. The interior of the Integra is quite a bit nicer than the Civic. Takes some styling cues and features from a lot of other of Acura's lineup, but it's still kind of this Civic-based interior. In person, I thought it was really nice, but honestly, when you just get in it, it looks about the same with some different leather options, some aluminum trim here and there, different style seats as every other Civic. And, you know, that's okay. That's not a bad thing. It's a really great interior, and in this car, at this price point, this is one of the best interiors I think that is around the $30,000 price point to use, and in terms of just feel and niceness. Honda did a really good job with this new Civic. I think I'd actually prefer buying one of these over the Accord. You don't get the power from the 2-liter turbo, but you get a manual transmission, which is really nice, and just a fun to drive, enjoyable chassis. Really quick, let's test out adaptive cruise control. So it's so cool that this works with a manual transmission. Basically, you just set your speed, and you can shift into any gear you want, and it'll maintain that speed. So you can have lane keep assist on too, turn that on, turn that off with the press of a button. This week I have a $100,000 Cadillac CT5e Blackwing in the driveway. That has a manual transmission, but guess what? You can't get adaptive cruise control with that Cadillac because Chevrolet didn't develop it to work with a manual transmission. Honda did, and it works great. It's all just software tuning and programming, and they've done a really nice job with it. It's cool that you're not locked out of those features when you get the manual. So how can we sum these three up? This Civic hatchback is a nice blend of performance, fun to drive, factor, styling, features, price point. It's probably still a little bit pricey in the Civic lineup at $30,000, but it's an attractive car. It's really nicely packaged. I like this hatchback configuration quite a bit, honestly. It'd be kind of cool if the SI was a hatchback, but that's kind of what the Integra is for in a liftback design. You kind of can't go wrong with any of these three options, but I wouldn't discount the Civic hatchback if you wanted to save a little bit of money over an Integra, or you can't get your hands on an Integra, or if the SI is maybe just a little bit too stiff and hardcore, or bare bones for your tastes. I also really like the CVT in these cars. It's a great transmission. Honda's CVTs are definitely a little bit more reliable than some of the rest. They're right up there with Toyota's. Still, you want to change out the fluid at regular intervals, but it's a really great transmission to drive. It's very fuel efficient. It's responsive. It actually allows you to get into the power band of this 1.5 turbo a little bit quicker and easier than these manual cars. Even the CVT in the Integra was really nice, and that had some paddle shifters to it. So you get this, stepped gear ratio, simulated gearing thing with these cars. You have paddle shifters. It's okay. It's fun, but you kind of can't go wrong with any of these configurations. Basically, I would look at a car that fits your budget, that's available in your area. I really do like this Civic hatchback. Really, the only cons to it are there's a little bit more road noise here in the Civic platform than, let's say, the Mazda 3, for example. But it's not terrible. If you want to reduce that, you can step up to an Acura Integra, pay a few grand more, get the CVT, and that problem is solved. And it depends on what you're going to be doing with a car like this. if you're going to be autocrossing or maybe doing a little bit of track driving or performance driving, the SI is probably going to be the way to go. But if you just want a nice, comfortable, fun to drive daily, this Civic hatch is probably the best bang for the buck and the best value for your money. If you want the hottest, newest, coolest thing, the Integra is probably right up there, and it offers some really great luxurious amenities that the Civic Si is lacking. So, just all things to consider, all factors to include in your purchase decision. So anyway, that's just a quick comparison between this Civic hatchback, the Civic Si, and the Integra. Wanted to make this video while everything was still pretty fresh in my mind. But yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. How do you think the Civic hatchback stacks up? And what have you guys been considering as a good daily? This is a pretty important car, I think, in today's age. It's very fuel efficient. It's one of the last options available with a manual transmission. And it's just a nice package. It's a great alternative to a crossover. It's still a very usable family vehicle. It kind of does all things, and it's just a staple in the automotive industry. And I think in any of the forms that we've discussed today, it's a great option and a great addition to anyone's fleet or garage. Some of the best daily drivers out there. So anyway, guys, that'll be it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.